Alright, so today I'm going to be playing Thanatophobia for the first time. As you can see, I have a little bit of progress. I spent a little bit of time learning this, and I'm ready to just get into it. I kind of wanted to talk through things while playing this level about just kind of like the whole thing about Halloween. So I'm playing this level for the Halloween season, the spooky level, as it's like this is like one of the more popular extreme demons in the game, just from like its reputation, and I just haven't actually got around to doing it yet. So I decided, you know what, I want to do it this year for Halloween spooky season, because apparently people play spooky levels for the spooky season sometimes. Yeah, I find it cool. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of this like whole Halloween thing, because I know, at least in my life growing up, I've seen a lot of different like ways of people celebrating Halloween, and like there's so many different ways that you can, and the entire world, I feel like, knows about Halloween, at least a good majority of it, but not necessarily like everyone celebrates it the same way. Like I know my family, we never celebrated Halloween growing up. I always knew about it. I always had friends that would celebrate, but I never grew up in a family that actually celebrated it. And because my parents believed that it's not really something that should be celebrated. It's kind of like dark, demonic, not a holiday that should be celebrated by the household I grew up in, which was a Christian household. I grew up not really, like my whole family grew up not really doing much with it, and so then I get to where I am today, and over time, like over the past few years, my parents have kind of started to like let us do more fun things. Like we still don't celebrate it at all, but like now they've allowed us like go out trick-or-treating just to get some candy, you know, have some fun times with friends or cousins or family, you know. And so, you know, they've understood that we can have a good time still without actually celebrating like bad parts of it, so to speak. It kind of brings up this whole like thing that the entire world, everyone's like celebrates holidays differently, and I find it so interesting that like, especially in like South American countries, you'll get like their celebrations for Halloween are like very religious and spiritual, with like the Day of the Dead and that whole thing. So it's a very different style than like we have in America. I find it very interesting, just the different ways that cultures celebrate their separate things, and how people have been raised and trained to believe certain things. Like I would probably have a very different view on Halloween if I had been raised differently about it. But I kind of like don't really care too much about Halloween anymore, just because I haven't cared about it ever in my life before. I find it interesting. It's a very interesting holiday where I don't feel like I technically celebrate it because I just never grew up doing it. But you know, it's one that exists, and it's got a lot of thematic stuff around it, and it's a pretty good holiday, all things considered. Oh my goodness, I forgot. I forgot I set that on. Yeah, so I also definitely have over practiced this level. For the record, I've practiced this a ton. Like I have this like down to a T with consistency. Consistent T, if I might say so. Alright, I'm just gonna anyways, but yeah, I have the jump scare mod on. That was great timing for that, dude. That was actually so good. I love that. Spooky level, spooky season, spooky mods. To about this level, from what I've played of it, this gameplay style, I'm a big flow guy, but there's like, I've discovered that there's two types of flow in this game. There's like flow like this, and then there's flow like the levels that I previously, like Chop Step and Hurricane, Stratus, and levels like that. There's those kinds of flow, and then there's flow levels that are like Aureole and like Reanimate and like this, Thanatophobia, that are, they're both flow levels, but they do it in separate ways, and you can clearly tell that they're different ways. I am personally more of a fan of like the Chop Step, Hurricane, Stratus type flow than I am of this style of flow. I feel like this style of flow is a lot less fun for me. I'm not quite sure like entirely why. I think it's just like the way the gameplay feels isn't as like fun to me. It doesn't flow as well as the other stuff. But anyways, as for the specific gameplay, I think the drop, pretty solid. I like everything past the drop. This pre-drop definitely feels like it's going to drag on though. I have tried to practice this pre-drop to the point where I can just kind of like get somewhere pretty easily, and I feel like I could. I just gotta like lock in, you know, maybe shut up a little bit. It's a pretty good level. I do like it so far, even though I'm not a big fan of this style of gameplay. I do enjoy the level as a level. And I'm excited to have this done for Halloween. Yeah, this pre-drop is definitely one of the less fun parts of this level. Once I start getting the drop consistently, I'm gonna start having more fun. I found that with the flow levels that I haven't really liked, like Reanimate and like Ariel and like this potentially, they all have super long pre-drops. So it kind of leads me to like the conclusion where like maybe it's just the longer the pre-drop is on a flow level, the less likely I am to enjoy it. It's hard to say, because like pre-drops, unless they're done like really well, can get very boring very fast. And that's kind of why I've liked levels like Hurricane and Chop Step, because they have a short, concise pre-drop that gets you straight in the level, and then the actual level gets going, and the actual level is like really good. But then there's levels like this where it's like the pre-drop doesn't feel like you're playing a level. It just feels like you're just like trying your best to get through something so you can get to the level. But you never actually get through that something, and so then you can't get to actually enjoy the level. And it's, you know, it's a psychological battle of just trying to push through. And I feel that's where a lot of people struggle with their motivation to actually play levels, is that if you get stuck in a pre-drop, then you're just cooked, and then your brain actually can't function properly, and then you're just like, what do you do then? And so there's a whole thing there. Oh my goodness, I might need to lower that percentage. It's pretty good though. 5%, for 5%, I'm getting it quite a lot. Frick you, dude. Gah! Why do you have to keep doing that? I swear 5% is like actually so low. Why does it keep happening?
What? Really? I never died of that, bro. Oh, okay. Well, at least that was an expected death past the drop. But I still am not a big fan of this. I really don't like this. Oh my... Why? What was that? That's never happened before. I've never had that weird setup. That's... Frick you. Actually, frick you. Why am I dying to everything stupid? I don't think it's going to be aware in the recording, but I believe this is an hour and a half since I got 69, bro. Like, what the heck is going on? Frick you. Yes. Oh, I did not like this experience at all. The drop to 100 felt fair for the most part. There were a few things I wasn't a big fan of, but at least it felt mostly fair. The entire pre-drop was terrible. I'm sure this is probably a pretty popular opinion, but I was not a fan of any of the pre-drop. Holy crap, it was a very much an inconsistent, abysmal mess that I did not enjoy personally. Like, it's a pretty decent level visually and thematically, but I did not enjoy that whatsoever. Holy. Oof. Well, happy Halloween, everyone. This is my completion for Halloween. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, instead of subscribing, like, you might as well. If you want to stick around and see more completions. I do beat more things other than things like this, but I do beat things like this every once in a while. So, thanks for watching.